Welcome to the Private Practice Startup Podcast, where we help ambitious private practitioners across the globe to brand themselves and grow their dream practices. We chat with successful private practitioners, business coaches, and marketing experts, bringing you tons of practice building ninja tips. Visit privatepracticestartup.com for awesome resources, attorney-approved private practice paperwork, and our signature marketing e-course. Here are your co-hosts, Dr. Kate Campbell and Katie Lemieux.
Are you a dad or dad-to-be wondering how to balance fatherhood, being a therapist, and entrepreneur? Well, we had the distinct pleasure of actually hearing from almost 20 dads on how they do this, and they share some awesome and amazing tips. Hey, everybody, it's Kate and Katie from the Private Practice Startup. We are excited that you're here on this very special podcast episode where we really honor the men and dads in private practice. I know they're far and few between because we are a heavily female-dominated industry and profession, so we really look forward to hearing what they have to share on this podcast. But we do hope that you joined us last time because, like it or not, social media is an important thing to talk about. So we talked with Andrea Jones on how to automate your social media while maintaining that personal touch. So definitely check out that podcast for sure. And if you're brand new to us, we wanted to say welcome to the Startup Nation family. If you're a loyal listener, welcome back. And for the dads out there, happy Father's Day. We hope you all enjoy. So we also would love to gift our newcomers a gift. And this is your Dream Private Practice Playbook. It is the exact methodology that Kate and I have used to build our six-figure private practices and helped many therapists do the same. And we'd love to give that to you. Head on over to privatepracticestartup.com under the resources section, and there you will see it. Kate, we honored the dads this time. We got to honor the moms on Mother's Day.
Yeah, we honored the moms on Mother's Day a few weeks ago, and we got such great feedback from Startup Nation, and it was just so cool to hear both for the moms and the dads episode, all of the different perspectives about what works when trying to find that balance between parenthood and entrepreneurship and being a therapist and all the different hats that we all wear. And so dads out there, we've got mad respect for the work that you do and for the most important role of parenting your little ones and being in that role of being just great fathers. So we're excited for this episode and we hope you all enjoy. Happy Father's Day, everybody.
One thing that I really enjoyed about listening to some of these is that we have dads from all different walks of life, grandfathers, fathers of teenagers, single dads. And, I just really loved listening to their personal stories. So let's go ahead and dive in and let's take that quick moment for our sponsor before you hear from the dads.
Is managing your practice stressing you out? Try Therapy Notes. It makes billing, notes, scheduling, and telehealth a whole lot easier. Check it out, and you will quickly see why it's rated the highest EHR on Trustpilot with over 1,000 verified customer reviews and an average customer rating of 4.9 or 5 stars. You'll notice a difference from the first day you sign up for the trial. They offer live phone support 7 days a week. So when you have questions, you can quickly reach someone who can help. You are never wasting time looking for answers. If you're coming from another EHR, they make the transition really easy. Therapy Notes will import your client's demographic data free of charge during your trial so you can get going right away. Use the promo code PPS to get your first 2 months for free or try out Therapy Notes for free, no strings attached, including their very reliable telehealth platform. Make 2021 the best year yet with Therapy Notes.
Greenpoint Med is a leading provider of medical billing and credentialing services to the community of mental health providers and practices. Running a healthcare practice can be hard, and working with insurance can make it even harder. Cut through the complexity of insurance by working with Greenpoint Med on any billing or credentialing need. Greenpoint Med offers customized solutions to providers and practices to help make running the insurance side of your practice simple and efficient. Any state, any insurer, any issue, Greenpoint Med can help. Bonus alert, if you're a Therapy Notes user, Greenpoint Med's billing services are directly integrated with the platform. All billing work is done directly in Therapy Notes. If billing for your practice is taking up too much time or causing way too many headaches, Call Greenpoint Med today for a free consultation. Just reference code StartupNation. Go to greenpointmed.com and schedule your free consultation right there on the homepage. Again, that's greenpointmed.com.
Hi, Kate and Katie. This is Eduardo Archer. So glad for your work. If I had any one tip about being a father and an entrepreneur, the one thing that I focus on is quality over quantity. And what I mean by that is if I zoom into the future and think about what I'll be able to do when I've reached peak fulfillment, one of the things that I'll be able to do is have more freedom to spend time with my family, with my kids, to be able to enjoy that. And so one of the things I've realized is right now, even though I don't necessarily have the quantity of that financially secure place, I can absolutely now experience the quality of what that might look like. For example, the other day I was in my office working in between sessions, writing notes, and my 2-year-old came in and had a Lego piece that he needed me to take apart for him. And I did, and he put his little head on my lap, for an entire 30 seconds. And in that moment, I stopped whatever I was doing. I grabbed my beautiful little boy and went over to build Legos with him. But that's it. I was able to hone in and to enjoy the quality of what I had in that moment, even though I had to go back to work and really push hard, to realize the quantity later. So yeah, that's my thought.
Hi, this is Joe Sanok from the Practice of the Practice podcast. I'm also the author of Thursday is the New Friday. My number one tip to being a dad that's also an entrepreneur is to allow silliness to come out. I mean, where else in life can you have an audience that is so engaged in your silliness and ridiculous humor than your kids? And so just following your own curiosity and your kids' curiosity. I remember in the middle of the pandemic, there was this day that we did a deep dive into the story of Ernest Shackleton going to the South Pole. And we were so silly. We acted it out. And it's a story of, survival and people getting stuck at the South Pole. And I had squirt bottles of water and we had fans going. And it's a day that we'll all remember, and they're going to remember this amazing story of survival. And I would just let that come out. Allow yourself during whatever phase your kids are in to just let that silliness come out. Let that improv come out. Let that ridiculousness come out, because that's where the memories are going to come that you completely couldn't have planned. And don't take yourself too seriously.
Aloha, my name is Dr. John Souza. My wife and I own and operate Elemental Guidance, LLC, an online group private practice based in Hilo, Hawaii. I have 4 kids, Evan, 25, Jyoti, 16, Devon, 15, and Daviani, 14. My number one tip on how to balance fatherhood and entrepreneurship: when dying people are asked what they regret most about their lives, they almost always say, "I wish I would have maintained my relationships, and I wish I wouldn't have worked so hard." Don't give all your patience to your patients. It's your partner and your kids who deserve the best of you, because they are the ones who help you sustain your practice, not the other way around. Most men raised with the Western ideology chase that brass ring, but it's an empty promise of fulfillment. Tell your clients and your business affiliates about your family priorities and set that expectation for your practice. This is culture creation. Those that value family first will want to work with you and will be much more flexible when you prioritize family over work. And the more you set family as priority, the more flexible your family will be with you when occasionally work takes priority. Happy Father's Day to all, and mahalo to my ohana for giving me the gift of fatherhood.
My name is Josh Keller. I own Josh Keller Counseling, PLLC, in Belton, Texas. And I have 3 children. My son is 6, and one daughter is 11, about to turn 12 next week, and then my other daughter turns 15 in August. If I were to talk about the balance between fatherhood and entrepreneurship, I think the thing that has made the biggest difference in my family's life is, one, just marking some space at the end of my day to kind of clear my head before I walk in the door. I know that as soon as I step inside, it's going to be daddy. And, there's the rush of excitement over telling me about their day and other things that have been going on and details. And so being able to just take a few seconds to kind of clear my head before I walk in the door has been huge for just setting aside that time. That also, helps me to be able to focus my energy while I'm at work on work things, knowing that I'm going to try and not carry that home with me. And that, I think, is the other thing, is just setting aside that clear time, in the evening and the weekends where I'm not on my phone trying to take care of business. Not always perfect at that, but that's really kind of been the biggest way for me to balance, is to set aside that time. So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Justin Garber, founder of Restorative Psychological Services in Waldwick, New Jersey. I have 2 daughters, 5 and 2 years old. I transition between work and dad multiple times per day. It can be difficult, but I'm much more involved in my children's lives now than when I was working at a hospital. I try and remind myself every day how lucky I am to see my children so much. It motivates me to keep helping others and to continue growing my business. I also hope it empowers my daughters to follow their dreams one day too.
Okay, everybody, it's sponsor time. Look, this past year was super stressful, but if you own a private practice, this could also be the year that you switch to a better payroll. Gusto wasn't just built for small businesses, it was built for the people behind them. Their online payroll is so easy to use. Gusto can automatically calculate paychecks and file all of your payroll taxes, which means you have more time to actually run your business. Plus, Gusto does way more than just payroll. Gusto helps with time tracking, health insurance, 401ks, onboarding, benefits, offer letters, access to HR experts. You get the idea. It's super easy to set up and get started. And if you're moving from another provider, they can transfer all of the data for you. It's no surprise that 94% of customers are likely to recommend Gusto. Here's the best part. Because you're a listener, you get 3 months totally free. All you have to do is go to gusto.com/PPS, as in the private practice startup. That's gusto.com/PPS.
Hello, Kate and Katie. My name is Lynn Shelby. I am a therapist in Keller, Texas. I work with a small group called the Oak and Side. I am the father of 2 therapists. I am a grandfather. And I became a therapist late in life after my first career as an athletic director and football and baseball coach here in Texas. I decided I would follow in the footsteps of 2 of my sons, as I said, who were therapists. And my tip, my insight is the fact that the greatest gift we can give our children and our grandchildren, especially as therapists, is really a life well lived, a life that we're living on purpose and we're living with some passion, no matter what age we are. I know we really struggle with, finding time for our children and grandchildren, but let us not forget that they really want us to be engaged in life and living life well and living on purpose. And when they see that in us, that inspires them. So that's my tip on how to perhaps balance life.
Hello, Kate and Katie and all the listeners of the show, and a huge shout out to all the other dads out there that are grinding, trying to balance being a therapist and an entrepreneur. My name's Matt Barnes. I'm the co-owner of a private practice called Southwest Counseling Services in Point Edward, Ontario, which is in Canada. I'm a clinical social worker. I'm a mental skills coach for a local hockey team, and I also host a podcast called Social Work Me. And finally, I'm a father of 2 children who are 13 months apart, and they're age 2 and 3. And so my number one tip, which might be cliche and we might hear multiple times, is to have really good boundaries. And, we talk about this all day with our clients, but I'm really referring to actually implementing concrete boundaries. So in my life, my wife is also the co-owner of our practice. And so naturally there's a ton of crossover with our work, with the business, with our kids, our family, and it's sometimes really difficult to manage it all. And so I've learned that I can't really be a dad that's on his phone, answering emails, phone calls from staff, from clients. I just end up feeling really guilty, not being present in really any of the areas and just falling short across the board. And so this has taken me over 6 years to really come to a good system. And so what I do is now I've implemented set days where have my business hat on, set days where I'm a clinician, and then set days where I'm just a parent. So having these days, and for me, I can't kind of split those days up. It needs to be a full day for me. So what I do after my clinical days or my business days to shift into being a dad again is as soon as I get home, I put my work bag completely out of sight. And the first thing I do is I hug my kids. And this might sound like a really standard, generic thing that we all do, but I really try and take this moment and be really mindful. And I try and actually feel the oxytocin running through my brain and my body and just shifting into this new role. And I use that physical hug as a way to do that. And there might be other ways, visualization, kind of taking the hat off, putting a new hat on might be another way to do this. For me, I just find physical touch as the best way for me to go from a businessman, entrepreneur, therapist to then being the best dad that I can be. So that's my number one tip. Thank you so much for putting this on. Shout out to all the dads and everybody out there that's running a business and just trying to hustle and make it all work and to be there for your kids. All right, everybody take care. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Matthew Brayman. I'm an LCSW, a brand new dad, and a brand new private practice owner located in New York. My practice is called Verve Psychotherapy, and I work with other new dads on mindful masculinity. My wife and I are both so in love with our premium chunk, who is now a beautiful 3-month-old baby boy. Trying to balance fatherhood and entrepreneurship has been quite the learning curve for me. For the past year, I was building my business while also working full-time for a private group practice. My wife was pregnant for most of that time, and now the baby is here, so it's even more hectic. It's challenging to build your dream practice, although this podcast really helped me a lot along the way. Prioritizing regular routines for my family and fatherhood first helps me find a better balance with entrepreneurship. For the baby, we follow the easy routine. It's eat, activity, sleep, and you time. You get your you time while the baby sleeps, and that's where I also have to squeeze in time to focus on my business. I've had to spend a lot of time each day early in the morning doing my Miracle Mornings Lifesavers routine so that I could really show up to build my practice and be a father. We have to understand that we live in a circus, and we have to take things seriously without taking ourselves too seriously. There are always moments where I feel exhausted, and I still have to show up on demand to do my dad duties, husband duties, and entrepreneur duties. I also try to slow down and be present, remember my why, and enjoy each moment by keeping things calm, fun, and meaningful, whether I'm working on my business or trying to be an all-pro dad.
Hi, Kate and Katie. Thanks for hearing the voices of us dads. I'm Matthew Morgan. I'm the owner of Covenant Family Wellness Counseling and Coaching in a suburb of Columbus, Ohio. Say that 3 times fast. My wife and I have one child who's a wonderful surprise after 13 years of struggling with infertility. So our little miracle baby, who's now 11 and has all the challenges of teenagerdom happening, I still do want to spend every moment I can with him. In fact, he's the reason I started my practice. I wanted something flexible enough that I could adjust my day to spend with him, but still provide enough for us to enjoy luxuries like a roof over our head and 3 meals a day. I think my number one tip for entrepreneur dads is to listen to our kids. Especially as a therapist, my ears can be so tired at the end of the night, but I always try to program a little reset time at the end of my day so that when I see my son, I can hear about him and his day. Even more than that, though, I want to hear about what excites him. So for my son, he's been loving watching engineering videos on YouTube. So when the chance came up to take an online course with one of his favorites, we jumped at it. And we're doing this as a father-son project. I heard what he liked, I leveraged my time to respond, and we get to spend quality time together. So I guess that's like 3 tips in one, but hopefully that encourages dads out there to remember why we're doing what we do. Happy Father's Day to all dads and dads at heart. And Kate and Katie, thank you for all you've done for us over the years. Take care.
Hey, everyone. My name is Melvin Verghese. I'm a licensed psychologist in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and the founder of Selling the Couch. We have a 2-year-old daughter. And the number one tip that I would have in terms of balancing fatherhood and entrepreneurship is just realizing that I'm in a season of life where I may not be able to do things at the pace that I would normally want to do things just because of other responsibilities. And so for me, I think at a larger level, it's been realizing that revenue and influence are not the only markers that I have to consider now, that ultimately I have to consider things like, is what I'm doing, is that going to take me away from my family or away from time with my daughter? And I think just incorporating those elements in a way has kind of humbled me and made me realize that, if I just focus on revenue and influence, I will never quite be content. But if I incorporate these other elements, then I can start to think about it a little bit more holistically and can ultimately build a life and a career that's centered around family versus fitting family around a career.
Hey, Kate and Katie. Big fans of yours. My name is Michael Berger, owner of My Therapy, My Truth. I practice in Boca Raton, and thank you for the question. So I would say the number one tip I have and practice is optimizing my time. As a divorced dad of one child, he'll be 3 in July. It's really important to me to spend as much quality time with him as possible, and so prioritizing time with him. But then when it comes to the entrepreneurship, I know beforehand what task I need to prioritize and spend my time doing those things, recognizing that I'm not going to get to everything, but if I got top 1, 2, or 3 things by the end of the week that I'd like to accomplish, that works for me. And so it's really about balancing the time, which I do through prioritizing, like I said. Again, big fans of each of yours. Keep doing your thing. I'll keep listening, and thanks.
Hello, my name is Pablo Gonzalez with Ease Your Mind Counseling. I'm a licensed mental health counselor and EMDR therapist. My office is located in Vero Beach, Florida, but I provide services throughout the state via telehealth. I am one proud papa bear of 2 fantastic and amazing little boys. One is 6 and the other is 3. So the number one tip on balancing fatherhood and entrepreneurship. Be an intentional parent. Keep it simple. Overcomplicating parenting brings undue stress. I found that the number one trick to keeping them happy is making the time to be a present father. Validating the littles and keeping them engaged works wonders. I myself remain grounded with this belief. My practice helps feed my family, but the opportunity to be a present husband and father is why I chose my practice. On the business and provider end, I reach out for support when needed, and never once took a business course while obtaining a dual master's. I don't know it all, and that's okay. Knowing my numbers, on the other hand, is fantastic and has served as a tremendous stress reducer when discussing finances with my spouse. Knowing the difference between home needs, tax needs, and financial goals has been one of the greatest gifts to our home. Lastly, remaining true to oneself is key. Authenticity, transparency, and integrity can be felt in your home, in the business setting, and while engaged in therapy.
Hey everybody, this is Shane Burkle, licensed marriage and family therapist in New Hampshire and host of the Couples Therapist Couch, the podcast that's all about the practice of couples therapy. I have 3 kids, Heather 17, Lucy 10, and Oliver 8. And one of the things that I think dads struggle with a lot is feeling guilty. Guilty when I'm at work because I feel bad because I'm not with my kids. And if I'm hanging out with my kids, I feel guilty because I'm not getting stuff done at work. And I also, the feeling of resentment that I don't have time for myself. I don't have time to do the things I want to do. And one of the things that completely changed my life was shifting my perspective, because I used to view spending time with the kids as a chore. It felt like an obligation. It felt like something I had to do. It felt really draining and exhausting. And I was able to shift my perspective into realizing that this is my choice. This is my free time. This is what I want to be doing with my time. And it really freed up a lot of energy for me to feel like I could, be more present at work, be more present when I was with the kids, and also feel like a lot more joy just overall in my life. So I hope everyone has a really happy Father's Day. Thank you so much, and take care.
Hello, my name is Thad Fry. I'm a brain spotting psychotherapist in beautiful Boulder, Colorado. My practice is Thad Fry Counseling. I have 2 wonderful kids, a son who is 9 and a daughter who is 7. My number one tip is listening to my and my family's needs as much or more than I do the business. I love my work and I enjoy my clients, but I've learned how fast kids grow up in a year and a half. So I've gotten past my fears and started to design a practice that works for my family and my business. And those fears of losing clients or upsetting people has not come to pass. I'm looking forward to the next year and a half of watching my kids grow up.
Hi, Kate and Katie. My name is Tyson Durbin, and I am the co-owner of Pinnacle Counseling and Consulting in Spokane, Washington. I've got 3 kids. I've got a 5-year-old daughter, a 7-year-old son, and an 11-year-old son, as well as a 17-year-old brother-in-law who moved in with us as well. First of all, love this idea of tip on how to balance fatherhood and entrepreneurship. I have restarted this thing probably 6 or 7 times now, trying to discern what my number one tip would be. I'm still learning it, but I would say right now, today, what's been really helping me is understanding my why, and my why is my family. When I am balanced and at my best is when I am connected to them. So making them a priority, them being my family, my kids, when I'm able to do that and keep that consistent, my practice does really well. So I think that would be my number one piece of advice, is to spend your energy where it is needed first and give where you can. Thank you, guys.
Hello, my name is Uriah Guilford, and my practice is Guilford Family Counseling, located in Northern California. I have 2 daughters, ages 13 and 14, and I think my number one tip on how to balance fatherhood and entrepreneurship is to design your practice and your life to reflect your true values. So my example of this is, for the longest time, I was a teen and family therapist. So I was working with adolescent boys and their families from about 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. And when our kids got to be school age, we realized that if they went away to school during the day, and then I was working all afternoon and evening, I would never get to see them. And it was really important to me to be an engaged and present father. So we decided to do what was the best decision and the wildest, which was to go all in on being a homeschooling family. So huge shout out to my wife, Sarah Guilford, who has put in so much effort over these years, but it's something that we would never change now that we've gone through it. And our girls are much closer for that, and our family is much closer. And I did not have to sacrifice being around as a dad to advance my career. So that's, I think, one of the best things that I've ever done, and I highly recommend it.
Thanks for joining us on The Private Practice Startup. Visit theprivatepracticestartup.com for awesome resources, free trainings, attorney-approved private practice paperwork, and so much more.